The orbital strike cannon is arguably the most destructive weapon in Minecraft. It's capable of sending literal nukes to any coordinate on your server, packed with thousands of TNT per payload. But what happens when a bad actor uses your own cannon against you? Creator iPlayGames engineered the ultimate counter, an orbital strike cannon destroyer. This machine uses advanced redstone to completely hijack the cannon remotely. The machine literally orders the cannon to fire a stab charge 0 blocks away. Now here's where I come in. To completely protect both current versions of the orbital strike cannon against this kind of hacking, I built a custom safety add-on that acts as a physical, unhackable firewall. Before I explain exactly how it works, I recommend you watch at least part of Cubicmetre's video explaining how the orbital strike cannon works. If you don't know anything about binary or how the cannon works, this video won't make sense. I'll briefly explain everything if you haven't seen his videos though. The cannon receives instructions through binary signals. The control panel sends exactly 55 bits of instructions, with some being for authentication, some being for payload type, and some being for target distance. Basically, the cannon has 15 bits for each axis that tell the cannon how far the TNT needs to go. My add-on has observers below specific copper bulbs, which if any of those copper bulbs activate, tell the cannon the payload is safe to fire. To set the record straight, the cannon does not let any payloads fire if they're within 250 blocks of the cannon. This is important, keep it in your head. The course bits sent to the cannon don't just represent blocks, they indicate the exact number of times the TNT duper has to run. The number 32 and higher can only be stored using bit 6 and above. The cannon must dupe 32 times or more to clear our minimum of 250 blocks. This means that at least one bit from 6 and above must be turned on if the cannon is firing outside of the 250 block minimum. Now that the cannon knows if the payload is safe or not, what does it do? Originally, I tried a copper bulb hooked up to all the observers, but that didn't work because it would toggle on and off when it needed to stay on. I was honestly stumped. It took me a while to think of it, but once I thought of a solution, it was, unbeknownst to me, Minecraft's most compact RS NOR latch, without even knowing that they existed or what they did. I didn't even use Google to think of it. What did you think of, you might ask? I placed 2 droppers facing into each other. Holy smokes. Now I'll show you what happens if either of these droppers had an item in them. But keep in mind I'm doing this in a flashback recording, so redstone is sort of finicky, so I had to change some blocks so it would work. This redstone line would be powered, and it goes all the way up here, all the way down to this, what I call the redstone compressor. So if either the player detector or the payload integrity verifier turns on, then the TNT dupers get locked, but in this case the TNT dupers are unlocked because both are safe. The same process happens down this vertical redstone signal, where it goes into a copper bulb and then an inverter, and then a repeater into this redstone compactor. If either of these 2 inputs are on, it'll send a signal to the TNT duper pistons that'll lock them and make the orbital cannon unable to generate TNT. Now that I'm done hooting and hollering, it's time to show you how to spawn in the cannon. First thing first, if you're building it in single player, you need Carpet TIS installed. If you're playing on multiplayer, the server owner needs Carpet TIS installed. This is an absolute must. If you fire without the command on screen, your computer will freeze for hours. You also can't spawn the cannon in on a server without some niche mod I can't remember the name of, because it'll be a whole mess, with some redstone being broken and all the containers being empty. The world host will also need Fabric MC or a vanilla Minecraft server. The cannon will literally blow itself up if you try and use it on any paper server or any fork of paper, like Forge, Velocity, or Purper. You're gonna go to the video description of this video right here, and you're gonna choose which of these files you want. So for this video, I'm gonna do the OSC MS Pro, and you gotta grab these files and you're gonna download them all. And once you have them all, you're gonna drag them into your schematics folder, which if you don't know how to do, you're gonna look up a tutorial for that real quick and then come back here. Once you're in your game, you're gonna create a world or go to your world, whatever you want to do. And what you gotta do is go to any coordinates, preferably away from like server spawn if you're building it in like a competitive server, which if you're watching this video you probably are. But for example, I'm gonna go to 100,000 divided by 16. Is that divisible? So everything has to be divisible by 16. $128, 100,000. So you're going to be at your divisible coordinates, and you're going to press M, load schematics, and you're going to load these files that you downloaded, which for me they're right here, but if your page looks different, that's fine. You have to load your file for the OSC Minimal Signature Pro, or it's going to be the one that says the Orbital Strike Cannon 6.1 Pro. You're going to click load. You're going to check, absolutely be sure that your coordinates are divisible by 16, which they are. So you're going to paste it in with your key, which you set in the Lightmatica config for execute operation. You're going to click that, and it's going to paste your cannon in. What you're going to do is you're going to find your coordinates and divide them by 8 exactly. Divided by 8 like that, like I'm doing right now. And you're going to grab those coordinates and you're going to teleport to them. I'm using this fancy trick called execute in. So I'm going to TP to the exact coordinates divided by 8. Once you're in the nether and on that exact coordinate that's divided by 8, you have to click on this which says OSC MS nether or your OSC 6 nether file and press load schematic, and it's going to be right here. If you have the OSC MS version, this is like really complex. You got to build this and everything. But if you're just running the OSC 6.1 Pro, it's just going to be like another portal and some fire. So make sure you have exactly that. So you're going to paste it in, this right here, and you're going to see all these clocks and stuff running. But anyway, you go back to the cannon and you have to turn on these 2 chunk loaders by flipping this switch over here, going around, and flipping this switch here. And if you have commands, you can check that it works by doing /game rule spectators generate chunks false and going into spectator mode. So what you should see is all your wireless redstone running. You're going to see a bunch of orange going around and a bunch of redstone running, which is good. You want that. So what you have after a working orbital cannon, you have to go to another pair of coordinates that are divisible by 16. And you got to do that. For example, I'm just going to do negative 100,000. 100,000. You're going to do the same process to spawn in your control panel. Just do what I did, press your execute operation key, and you should see it. Make sure it's chunk aligned too. Once you have your control panel, you have to go to the nether, and you have to get a flint and steel. You have to have one piece of netherite that's on fire, and that's all you gotta do in the nether for this right here. Once you have that, you have to put in your QR code that this gives you right here. So for that, and you have to make sure that this selector is right. Once you have your QR code put in, you have to click this lever, right click it, and you have to wait about 20 seconds for it to start flashing. So it's flashing just at the speed mine is right now. Once you have that, you can push this button right here. As you can see, the cannon is perfectly fine. It doesn't have a stab charge torn through its guts. It's completely okay. No problems whatsoever. I could fire another shot from this without a doubt. And anyway, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you're going to be using this cannon, let me know. Tell me if it works or not. And leave any questions in the comments. Have a good one.